Hey friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm going to paint hopefully, I have an image sort of in my head, or an idea, maybe not so much an image, of a very simple landscape. I'm going to make it more about the sky. Oh, I just knocked over some paint. I'm thinking I'm going to put the horizon line about here, make it more about the sky than the land, but in the land, I want to put more in the foreground some structure gel, like I do with the impasto flowers. I'll link one or two of the impasto flower paintings in this video's description. I really like this structure gel from Winsor & Newton. It does make the paints more transparent, but it doesn't add color to it. I haven't tried this yet. I have some molding paste from Golden, but it's semi-opaque. It has a satin finish. And I'd rather have a matte finish for photographing the paintings before I varnish them. It says you can mix it with colors or other mediums, but it also has an off-white color to it. So it might lighten the colors. I probably should play with it. We'll have to do that in another video. Anyway, so I'm going to use structure gel in the foreground. I've got, here, we need to do the setup. I've got an 11 by 14 inch cradled wood panel from US Art Supply. They don't sponsor this video, 1.5 thick. I put clear gesso on it. You could put any white gesso on it. But in this case, I'm going to, instead of painting a background color, I'm going to just use this wood color as the background color. And I'm thinking, or I am going to use Prussian blue, because it's a muted dark blue. You can tell, you might guess that it's muted partly because of the color swatch on here, but also there's 3 colors. It's made up of, these numbers tell you that it's made up of 3 colors. And I'm going to use yellow oxide. It's just 1 color. And then I'll use titanium white and Mars black. Okay, let's have some fun, guys. Let's chat for a minute. So here's my palette when it's not time-lapsed. I mixed, I had a pile of white. I put about the equal parts Prussian blue and Mars black in that. And so that looks quite gray, but it's actually, if I were to mix white, here, we'll just do that. If I were to mix white, I'm looking for a brush, into the black, it should look more gray, but let's see if it does. Oh, that's a lot of, trying to grab any blue. Oh, it's pretty close though. That, I don't know if you can see it on the video, that is a slightly bluer gray. It's kind of good I did that. So I pulled that aside because it did look a little gray to me. I am focusing on a muted painting because it's good to change it up. If you guys follow me or you just go look at my YouTube homepage, you'll see some really fun, bright, juicy paintings, which I love to do too. Okay, so then I put more Prussian blue in this pile. Yellow oxide, titanium white, Mars black. I'm using a really cheap 1-inch brush from Blick Art Materials. And what I'm thinking here is, I'm gonna kind of wipe this off. It's still dirty, but I kind of blended it, but it's okay. But I'm thinking, like here you can see the brush stroke. Excuse me, guys. There's one here. There's an angle one there. I'm trying to leave more of the brush stroke in. I also did put a little straight up Prussian blue on my brush and blended a bluer section in there too. I came back and it's sort of glazed because it's a little damp, but just a little yellow oxide on my brush just to warm it up. Because I'm not sure what I'm gonna have down here, but it'll be warmer, landscapey. This might mix a good green. Here, let's take a look. So this is a really dark color. Probably should just put some more yellow oxide out. I've used these two colors before. I can't think which painting. Yeah, that's kind of a greenish. It might need a little, the other way I could do it is just a little Mars black in it. See what kind of green I get. Yeah, that's looking greenish. I don't know if you can see that. Here, I'm gonna set this down so I can scrape harder and it'll be a little quicker. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna use a color like that in the landscape. See if I can spread it. Oh yeah, you can see that that's kind of greenish. Okay. Just cleaning off my palette knife so I don't forget. I came up, oh gosh, I don't have my ruler. 3 3/4 inches, I remembered. So I was thinking about going a little lower. I could still go lower and just paint more, down further. I use that little T-square, which is really handy to get a straight line. I think we'll be fine. I'm fussing over it. And then the reason I painted this triangle is because I'm going to have a lighter area or a darker area pointing this way. And then I did my sweeping sky like in my best how to paint clouds video. I can link that in this video's description. But it's chunkier, it's not as blended. But so this leads you hopefully down to here. And this kind of leads you back in. But other than that, I think that's all the structure I'm going to have in my landscape. I like how light this is. Oh, I think it's okay. I might lighten that up a little bit when it dries. Okay, and we did brush, we did palette, we did what I'm thinking. I'll be back in a bit. Hey, let's chat for a minute. I let this dry, so it was upside down because I painted the bottom edge of the land area. And I let it dry. I went for a walk, had dinner, that kind of thing. Flipped it back over, and I'm thinking this is too dark. And actually it has more color than I thought that I had in my head. But that's okay. This could be done. This is a landscape. What I did after I flipped it back right side up, I glazed a little bit of blue, and it was a little too blue. I didn't want it to look like the sky, so I came back with this light gray green color while it was still kind of damp and blended that in. Oh, and I used this 1/2 inch filbert just because it was sitting over here. While I'm thinking of brushes, I used this 3/4 inch flat brush. It's from US Art Supply. It was really inexpensive. But I used it for the tree line. And then I got over here and I had too many high ones. So I just took some water and scrubbed it out. And it dirtied up my sky a little bit, but it's actually fine. And I like that it's a little waterier looking right there. So, and also I scrubbed some right here. So that's a little waterier looking. Now I don't think I needed to do this, but I took up some straight up Prussian blue and just put a couple of marks. So what's nice is this points, when I'm sitting this close, I don't notice it as much, but when I look in my phone, this points this way. I mean, there's this one also pointing this way a little bit, but this is stronger. So you're going here, plus you're following the whites, and then you have the dark, and then, oh, I might need to, it's drying down to where you can't hardly see it. But then I've got a little bit of a line going this way. So it's like a zigzag. And then you could say it's leading me out of the painting, but it does stop. Or you could say this leads you out of the painting, either way. So the next thing I want to do is put some texture on it, but I'm a little nervous to do it because this looks good. Let's see, how long has this taken me? So about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, which it doesn't seem like I took that long, but I was just adding up the time in my head. And some of that's mixing all the colors too. I used the same 1-inch flat brush for most of the landscape, except for when I glazed some color and I was putting in this line. Okay, I think that gets us up to speed. This, I should say, this puddle is a lot of yellow oxide and a little bit of Mars black, but it's still, I still have all these greenish. This is yellow oxide. I don't think I grabbed any green, and Mars black, just to get a really dark but warm gray. Okay, I think that gets us up to speed. I'm gonna think about it a bit. That's also, I mean, that's also part of the painting too. Like, you don't just paint it all the same time. Like, I glazed some yellow oxide over, I don't think I mentioned that, over parts of the clouds, just to help pull in the landscape. And that's why I put some blue and on the land to help pull in the sky. Okay, guys, I'm gonna think about how to do the texture, what I wanna do. And of course, all that thinking, it's when I use a palette knife or something, it's not gonna turn out quite the same as I picture. Okay, guys, I'll be back in a bit. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. We'll do a tour so you can see the texture a little bit better. I did not use structure gel. I was going to, but then I could, here, maybe we'll, not quite a tour, but maybe if I turn it, you can see some of the texture. Oh, that's actually kind of a fun angle. Okay. I decided I didn't need a bunch of relief, so I just put on thick paint with a palette knife. And I like that. And I didn't really know, I was scared to do what I was thinking for for the land. So I started here. I'm like, well, you know, if my focal point's here, so it's sort of on a third, not quite. Depends on where you decide if that's really strong. Anyway. So I put some warm palette knife color here. And I came back with a little darker green just to break some of it up. It's hard to control a palette knife, but you get some really cool marks. And then I put some similar value, sometimes a little darker value palette knife marks. So here, some here. Well, I guess I put them pretty much everywhere, but I put them all over, but not as much as the background. There's less of them. And then I added the thicker pieces. And I think it still works. Let me look at my phone. Yeah, there's still a line that leads you in. And then this nice dark corner pushes you in, which I really like. What else? So in my best how to paint clouds video, where I demo different ways to paint fluffy clouds, it's dark blue to light. This one is dark blue to sort of light or more muted. Excuse me. But it's like you don't always have to do that. But also the ground, it gets quite light back here. And for the most part, it's grayer, where it gets warmer coming forward. This is pretty warm, but also calls a lot of attention. So this is warmer than, this is much cooler. So it's not like I'm totally following, dark in the front, light in the back, but I generally am. You can see that I generally am. This is darker than this. What else? I think that's about it. Really fun, really relaxing. This last part with, the palette knife, it's the one I use to mix with. It's just a little one. You could use a bigger one. You could use a credit card. Oh, I can't tell what number it is. I've got one that's a number 40. I don't think this is a number 40. You could use anything. You can use your finger, but you don't get the skipping. Okay, was I going to say something else? I don't think so. I think it's time for an up-close tour. Oh, super relaxing. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So this went much slower because I was thinking about it and saying, okay, mixing a value of some muddy color and then just, kind of slowly talking my way through it. So started here, and I think then I put some, or maybe I put some marks over here. I think I started here. I have to go back and look at my own video. Anyway, just went the whole point. The point, Annie, as I get towards the end of a painting, it's slower and more thoughtful and fewer actual painting, fewer marks. Okay, I think that was clear. Let's do the tour. Okay, I don't know if I never can get it straight for screenshot. Try to get my fingers out of there. Not bad. Okay, is that focusing? Almost looks like there's a little bit of dust blowing up in the air. Do you want to see those trees closer? But I can't tell if it's focusing. It might be. So can you see the thicker, darker brown pieces in there? I don't want to touch them, but kind of right there. I dried them with a hair dryer, but I don't know how dry they are. Okay, so now we'll kind of go up the middle. Yeah, that big white blob, I think, is the strongest thing. And it's quite close to the darkest thing. But really, looser, simpler clouds in that video. I'm pretty sure I mentioned I'll link how to paint clouds video in this description that I have. It's done quite well on YouTube. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Here you can kind of see some of the yellow oxide over the clouds. Sorry I'm so wiggly. I'm like 4 inches from my phone. So some of the trees I scrubbed out, I think. Oh, no. These are the trees I scrubbed out over here. They're softer looking. These look like they go off. My finger's going to come in there. Into the distance. It's kind of neat. There, maybe you can see some of the texture. I'm going to turn it. Maybe if I go this way. Okay. Really an easy beginner painting. I'm even tempted to wonder if it would look a little better if I brought it down, the horizon line down. Oh, what would that be? Almost an inch, maybe? Half inch? Well, no. Let's see. This is probably 3/4 inch, maybe about 3/4 inches. But, this one works. There's nothing wrong with the layout or the design. I'm just wondering if it'd be a little neater, and then maybe you'd have more texture since you'd have even a bigger sky. Okay, guys, it's so fun to hang out with you. I love it that you come to work with me. I'm a full-time artist. I couldn't do this without you. Great big happy art hugs, and I hope to chat with you soon. Bye, guys.